Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you're at a crossroads in your life? Like you're standing at the edge of something great, but you don't know how to take that next step? I'm here to tell you that when God leads you, something extraordinary happens. Something that transforms not just your circumstances, but your very perspective. Now, when God leads you, it doesn't always look the way you expect it to. You see, the world wants you to believe that success, happiness, and fulfillment are achieved by taking control, by knowing exactly where you're going and how you're going to get there. But here's the truth. When God leads you, it's not about your plan. It's about his plan. And let me tell you, his plan is always bigger than anything you could ever imagine. You'll find yourself stepping into situations where you feel underqualified, where you feel uncertain, and where your comfort zone is challenged. But let me tell you this, those are the exact moments where you're being prepared for something that will blow your mind. God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. So don't ever think you're not ready for what lies ahead. If God is leading you, then you are more than ready. First, you'll experience a deep sense of peace, peace that passes all understanding. In a world filled with chaos, where anxiety and fear try to control your every move, when God leads you, you won't be shaken. You'll walk into situations where the odds are stacked against you, but you'll have this unexplainable calm that says, I've got this. I don't know how, but I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And when God leads you, you'll find doors opening that you never thought possible. These doors will open not because of your effort alone, but because God's timing is perfect. You might have been waiting for years, feeling like nothing is moving forward. But when the time is right, when he's ready for you to step into your destiny, those doors will swing wide open. But let's be clear, when God leads you, things don't always happen the way you think they should. You may take a few detours. You might face some unexpected challenges, but I'll tell you this, every obstacle, every setback is part of the process. When God leads you, the setbacks are setups for a greater comeback. Those moments that feel like failure are actually building the resilience, the strength, the faith that you need for the journey ahead. You might not see it now, but trust that it's all working in your favor. And here's the most powerful part. When God leads you, you will begin to attract people and opportunities that align with your purpose. Suddenly, the right people will show up at the right time. Relationships that were once broken will be restored. You'll find yourself surrounded by individuals who lift you up, who challenge you, who believe in you. When God leads you, you'll start to walk with a sense of purpose that is undeniable. Every step you take will feel intentional. You'll be driven not by fear, not by doubt, but by the power of knowing that you are on the path you were meant to walk. So if you're feeling lost right now, if you're questioning your next move, if you're standing at the edge of uncertainty, I challenge you to stop trying to control everything. Let go. Trust the process. When God leads you, you are being guided to your best self. You are being led to a future beyond your wildest dreams. You were never meant to walk this journey alone. You were never meant to figure it all out by yourself. When God leads you, he's walking with you, guiding you, preparing you for the greatness that lies ahead. Embrace it, step into it, trust it, because when God leads you, nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop you from becoming the person you were always meant to be. Trusting God's timing and plan, even when it's unclear, is one of the most powerful and transformative acts of faith you can take in your life. It's easy to become impatient, to feel frustrated, or even to doubt when things don't seem to be going according to your own expectations or timeline. The world tells you that success is achieved by controlling every detail, knowing exactly what's coming next, and forcing things to happen according to your will. But in reality, true growth, fulfillment, and purpose come when you surrender to a higher plan, trusting that God's timing is always perfect, even when it doesn't make sense in the moment. We live in a society that thrives on instant gratification. We want things to happen quickly. We want results now, whether it's in our careers, our relationships, or our personal goals. We often find ourselves racing against time, trying to achieve everything as fast as possible. But here's the truth. Life doesn't always move at the pace we want it to. Sometimes God's plan takes time to unfold, and that's okay. In fact, that's more than okay. It's necessary. When God is guiding you, he doesn't always reveal the entire plan at once. Sometimes all you can see is the next step, and you may not even understand why it's necessary, but that's where faith comes in. Trusting God's timing means recognizing that he knows what's best for you, even when you can't see the big picture. You might feel stuck, like nothing is happening, or even like you're moving backwards. But in those moments, God is working behind the scenes, preparing you for what's to come. Trusting his plan means letting go of the need for immediate answers and believing that everything is working for your good. Think about a time in your life when you were waiting for something. Maybe you were waiting for a breakthrough in your career, for a relationship to improve, or for a door to open. During that time, it may have felt like nothing was changing, like you were in a holding pattern. But looking back, you can probably see that what you were waiting for required preparation. You needed to grow in certain areas, learn specific lessons, or develop qualities that you didn't have at the time. God's timing wasn't about delaying your success. It was about shaping you into the person you needed to be in order to handle what was coming next. One of the hardest things about trusting God's timing is the element of uncertainty. When we don't know what the future holds, it's easy to feel anxious or overwhelmed. We want to be in control. We want to know when things will happen, how they will happen, and why they will happen. But God doesn't always work in ways that we expect. His plan may take unexpected turns. You might find yourself on a path you didn't anticipate, in a place you didn't think you'd be, or with people you never imagined. But even in that uncertainty, there's a deep peace that comes from knowing that you're exactly where you need to be. Trusting God's timing means surrendering the need to understand everything and accepting that he is in control. Sometimes we try to rush the process because we don't want to wait. We get impatient and feel like we're falling behind. We see others moving ahead, achieving their goals and getting what we want, and we start to wonder why we're still stuck. But when you trust God's timing, you recognize that his plan isn't about comparison. It's not about measuring yourself against anyone else's journey. It's about your own path, your own growth, and your own unique purpose. You don't need to rush. You just need to be faithful in the process, knowing that in his time, everything will align as it should. Trusting God's timing also means embracing the seasons of waiting. In the waiting, there's growth. In the waiting, there's preparation. In the waiting, you learn to build resilience and patience. And when you finally step into the next phase of your life, you'll be ready for it in ways you couldn't have been if you hadn't waited. The waiting period is not wasted time, it's essential time. It's during these moments that God refines you, teaches you, and positions you for what's ahead. The longer you've had to wait, the more you'll appreciate the reward when it comes. It's easy to question God's timing when it feels like things aren't moving, but what if the delay is actually a blessing? What if the waiting period is a gift that allows you to become the person you're supposed to be before the breakthrough arrives? There's a saying, when God says no, he's protecting you. When God says wait, he's preparing you. It's in the waiting that you're being equipped with the strength, the wisdom, and the character to walk into the next season of your life with confidence and grace. Trusting God's timing isn't about being passive. It's about being active in your growth while you wait. It's about working on yourself, developing your skills, and improving your mindset as you trust that God is doing his work behind the scenes. Moreover, God's timing is always aligned with his purpose for you. It's not just about when you want something to happen, it's about when you're truly ready for it. And God knows when that moment will come. Sometimes we think we're ready, but God sees what we don't. He knows what's going to happen tomorrow, next month, or even years down the road. He knows what you're going to need in the future, and he's preparing you for that now. When you trust his timing, you trust that he's working all things together for your good, even when you can't see it yet. Ultimately, trusting God's timing means releasing the pressure to make things happen on your own. It's about surrendering your desires, your expectations, and your need for control, and saying, God, I trust you with this. I know that in your time, everything will fall into place. It's in that surrender that you find freedom. You no longer have to carry the weight of trying to figure it all out yourself. You can walk with peace, knowing that the creator of the universe is guiding you, leading you, and bringing everything into alignment according to his perfect plan. Trusting God's timing means releasing the fear, the doubt, and the uncertainty and stepping into faith. It means believing that what's meant for you will find its way to you at the right time and in the right way. Embracing discomfort is one of the most powerful things you can do when you are on the path of growth and transformation. Many people shy away from discomfort, avoiding it at all costs because they associate it with pain, failure, or something negative. But in reality, discomfort is often a sign that you're stretching yourself, that you're moving out of your comfort zone, and that you're pushing yourself towards something greater. It's a natural part of the process of becoming the person you're meant to be. The more you embrace discomfort, the more you're preparing yourself for the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. You see, discomfort is the fertile ground in which growth takes place. It's in those moments when things are hard, when you feel unsure of yourself, when you face obstacles, that the seeds of your potential are planted. Without discomfort, there would be no need for growth. If everything in your life was easy, if every step you took was comfortable and predictable, you wouldn't experience the same level of transformation. True growth comes when you step into the unknown, when you face fears, when you take risks that feel uncomfortable but necessary. It's only through embracing discomfort that you unlock the next level of who you're meant to become. Think about the times in your life when you've grown the most. Maybe it was during a challenging time at work, in a relationship, or in a personal situation. Maybe it was when you had to confront a fear or challenge yourself in a way you never had before. Those were the times when you were forced to step beyond what felt comfortable and into something new. It's through that process of stepping out of the familiar that you learn things about yourself that you wouldn't have discovered otherwise. You develop new skills, new insights, and new strengths that you didn't know you had. It's often through the discomfort that you find your true potential. One of the key aspects of embracing discomfort is recognizing that it's temporary. In the moment, it might feel overwhelming. You might feel like you're stuck or that the situation is never going to get better. But discomfort is not permanent. It's a phase. It's a season that you move through as you continue to evolve. And when you get to the other side of it, you'll realize that the growth you experienced during that time was worth the struggle. What once felt difficult will become a part of your story, a testament to your resilience and your ability to rise above challenges. Another reason discomfort is essential is because it often signals that you're on the verge of something big. When you start feeling that unease, that sense of not knowing, that feeling of being pushed to your limits, that's often when you're on the edge of breakthrough. It's as if you're being prepared for the next level. You see, the higher you go, the harder the climb. The more you grow, the more challenges you'll face. But every challenge is an opportunity to level up, to expand, and to evolve into a better version of yourself. The more you resist discomfort, the more you're holding yourself back from the growth and breakthroughs that are waiting for you on the other side. The discomfort that you experience also serves as a teacher. It teaches you lessons that you can't learn in the comfort of your old ways. It teaches you patience, resilience, and how to manage your emotions. It teaches you how to stay grounded when things are chaotic. When you face a situation that challenges you, it forces you to adapt, to be resourceful, and to think in new ways. These are the lessons that shape your character. And these are the qualities that will help you succeed, not only in the present, but in every future challenge you will face. It's also important to understand that discomfort often comes with growth because it's a sign that you're pushing your limits. Growth is all about pushing beyond the boundaries you've set for yourself. It's easy to stay in a space that feels familiar, a space that you know well, where everything feels safe and secure, but that's not where growth happens. Growth happens when you're willing to step beyond what you already know, to try new things, and to fail. It happens when you push yourself to do things that scare you, to face the unknown, and to take actions that feel uncomfortable, because you know that doing so will take you to the next level. In fact, growth without discomfort is often an illusion. You can't expect to achieve greatness without facing challenges. If you look at anyone who has achieved remarkable success, Whether in business, sports, relationships, or any other field, they've all faced discomfort at some point in their journey. They've had to push through fear, doubt, and uncertainty. They've had to endure struggles that felt impossible at the time, but those moments of discomfort were the very things that built their character, shaped their mindset, and prepared them for success. Discomfort also forces you to be present in the moment. When things get tough, when you feel uncomfortable, it's easy to become overwhelmed with negative thoughts and worries about the future. But in those moments, discomfort demands that you stay focused, stay grounded, and stay in the present. It forces you to become more mindful of your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. And it's in that mindfulness that you can access your true power. You embrace discomfort, you become more resilient, more adaptable, and more capable of handling whatever comes your way. It's also worth noting that discomfort is not the same as suffering. Suffering comes from resisting the discomfort, from fighting against it, from wishing things were different. Discomfort, on the other hand, is a natural part of the growth process. It's something that happens when you're on the edge of something great, when you're stepping into the unknown, and when you're expanding in ways that require you to stretch beyond what's comfortable. Embracing discomfort doesn't mean you won't feel fear or uncertainty. It means you acknowledge it, face it head on, and push through it, knowing that the other side will bring you closer to your goals. The more you embrace discomfort, the more you begin to see it as an ally in your journey. It's no longer something to fear, it's something to welcome. Because you know that every moment of discomfort brings you closer to who you are meant to be. It's a signal that you're moving forward, that you're evolving, and that you're ready for the next level of your journey. Discomfort, when viewed from this perspective, is no longer an obstacle. It becomes a catalyst for transformation. And when you begin to see discomfort as an opportunity for growth, you'll find that you're able to face challenges with confidence, resilience, and a deep sense of purpose. When God leads you, you will experience a peace that surpasses all understanding. In a world that thrives on chaos, uncertainty, and constant change, it's easy to become overwhelmed. The pressures of everyday life, the demands of work, relationships, and responsibilities can weigh heavily on your shoulders. Yet when God is leading you, there's a unique peace that comes with knowing you are exactly where you are meant to be, even when the world around you seems anything but peaceful. It's a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, a peace that remains unshaken, even in the face of trials and adversity. This peace isn't something you can manufacture on your own. It's not something you can find in material possessions, career achievements, or external validation. It's a peace that comes only from knowing that you are walking in alignment with God's plan for your life. This peace isn't just about a temporary feeling of comfort. It's about a deep, unshakable assurance that you are on the right path, that you are not alone, and that no matter what comes your way, you are being led by a higher power. At times, life can feel overwhelming, and it's easy to fall into anxiety or doubt. We want to know what the future holds, and we want to feel in control of the direction our lives are going. But when God leads you, the need to control everything fades away. There's a surrender that happens when you fully trust that His plan is greater than yours. This doesn't mean that everything becomes easy, that all your problems vanish, or that you suddenly have all the answers. But it does mean that you no longer carry the weight of the world on your own. You are able to release the stress, the worry, and the uncertainty, and instead embrace a peace that comes from knowing that God is guiding every step you take. Peace doesn't mean the absence of challenges or difficulties. In fact, when God leads you, you may encounter obstacles, setbacks, and situations that challenge your faith and test your strength. But through it all, there is a quiet assurance in your spirit that tells you this is part of the journey. This is part of the process. I am not alone in this. The peace you experience is a peace that transcends the circumstances around you, a peace that isn't tied to what is happening in the moment, but to the trust you have in the one who is leading you. One of the most profound aspects of the peace that comes when God leads you is its ability to calm the storms inside of you. You may find yourself in a situation that on the outside looks like turmoil, but internally you feel centered and at peace. This inner peace isn't something that you can achieve through your own strength or willpower. It's the result of trusting God's guidance and knowing that He is in control. This peace gives you the clarity to make decisions without being driven by fear, panic, or anxiety. You no longer feel the need to rush or to force outcomes because you know that God is orchestrating everything in your favor. When you allow God to lead you, you start to experience peace even in the moments of waiting. So often we're anxious because we don't know what the future holds or because things are moving slower than we'd like. But when God leads you, waiting doesn't feel like a burden. It becomes an opportunity to rest in His timing. You're no longer anxious about when things will happen or how they will unfold because you know that God has a perfect plan and that everything will happen at the right time. The peace that comes in waiting is a peace that reassures you that you don't have to rush, that you don't have to make things happen on your own. This peace also enables you to see beyond the immediate circumstances. When God is leading you, you're able to look at the bigger picture. You may not see how everything fits together in the moment, but you trust that God is working behind the scenes. There's a quiet confidence that comes with knowing that your story is part of something greater, something that is unfolding according to a plan that you might not fully understand yet, but can trust. And even when things don't make sense, you experience a peace that helps you maintain hope, faith, and confidence in the future. When God leads you, you also begin to experience peace in your relationships. In moments of conflict or tension, you find that you are able to respond with calmness and understanding rather than reacting out of anger, frustration, or fear. This peace doesn't come from your own strength or ability to handle situations. It comes from the trust you have in God's leading and the assurance that He is with you in every interaction, helping you to be patient, kind, and loving, even in challenging circumstances. This peace also helps you to release the need to control others, to manipulate situations, or to force outcomes. Instead, you trust that God is working in the hearts and lives of those around you, just as He is working in yours. Additionally, the peace that comes from being led by God enables you to find rest. In a world that glorifies hustle, work, and achievement, it can be difficult to find true rest. But when God is leading you, you're able to let go of the constant pressure to perform and achieve. You can rest in the knowledge that your worth is not tied to your accomplishments, but to who you are in Him. You can find peace in simply being, in taking time to recharge and replenish your spirit. This rest is not about inactivity or laziness. It's about recognizing that God's peace allows you to step back, trust His plan, and not feel the constant need to prove yourself. Another significant aspect of the peace that comes when God leads you is that it allows you to overcome fear. Fear often arises when we don't know what's coming next, when we feel uncertain about the future, or when we're confronted with challenges that seem insurmountable. But when God is leading you, you don't have to live in fear. The peace that He gives you is greater than any fear or anxiety. It's the kind of peace that allows you to step forward even when you don't have all the answers, to take risks even when the outcome is unknown, and to move with confidence, knowing that you are not alone in the journey. Peace is also an outward reflection of the trust you place in God. The more you trust Him to lead you, the more peace you experience in your heart. It's a peace that radiates out from within and affects everyone around you. People can see that you are different, not because you are free from problems, because you have a peace that isn't shaken by them. This peace draws others in and gives them a glimpse of the divine guidance and strength that you found. It's a peace that speaks to the power of trusting God's plan, even when it doesn't make sense in the moment. Setbacks are not signs of failure. They are setups for comebacks. Life has a way of throwing obstacles in our path, challenging us, testing our strength, and making us question our ability to continue. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that when things go wrong, we're done for, that we've hit a wall with no way around it. But in reality, setbacks are often the very things that prepare us for the success that's waiting on the other side. When you experience setbacks, it's not an indication that you've failed, but that you're being refined, shaped, and positioned for something greater. It's in those moments of struggle that you learn the most about yourself, your resilience, and your capacity for growth. The truth is that no one's journey is without setbacks. If you look at anyone who has achieved great success, whether in their career, relationships, or personal life, you'll find that their path was anything but smooth. They faced challenges, they encountered roadblocks, and they experienced moments of doubt. But what separates those who succeed from those who give up is the ability to see setbacks not as the end of the road, but as a detour to something better. Setbacks are a natural part of the process of becoming who you are meant to be. They are not a signal to stop, but an invitation to adjust your course, to grow stronger, and to continue moving forward. Think about the last time you faced a setback. Maybe you lost a job, went through a tough breakup, or faced a major disappointment. In the moment, it likely felt like your world was falling apart. You may have questioned your worth, your abilities, or your future, but if you look back now, you can probably see how that setback led to something positive. Maybe it forced you to reevaluate your goals, to reconsider your priorities, or to develop new skills. Setbacks often serve as catalysts for growth, pushing you to think differently, to dig deeper, and to become more resourceful. They force you to tap into a level of determination and creativity that you didn't know you had. And when you push through those difficult moments, you emerge on the other side stronger, wiser, and more equipped for what's to come. One of the most important things to remember when facing a setback is that it's not permanent. Too often we allow temporary challenges to define us. We feel like a failure when something doesn't go as planned, and we let that one moment shape our entire narrative. But setbacks are just that, temporary. They are part of the journey, but they don't determine your final destination. Success is not a straight line. It's a winding road with twists and turns, ups and downs. Each setback is simply a part of that road, leading you toward the next phase of your journey. When you view setbacks as temporary, it's easier to maintain your perspective and keep moving forward. You recognize that setbacks are not the end, they are just part of the process of getting to where you're meant to be. The key to overcoming setbacks is developing resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to keep going even when things are tough. It's the quality that allows you to face obstacles head on and move through them without losing your sense of purpose or direction. Resilience isn't something that comes naturally to everyone. It's something that is built through experience. The more you face setbacks, the stronger your resilience becomes. You begin to understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process. You learn that setbacks are not there to stop you, but to teach you, to refine you, and to push you toward greatness. When you encounter a setback, it's natural to feel frustration, disappointment, or even anger. You might want to give up or walk away from your goals. But it's in those moments that you must remind yourself that setbacks are often preparing you for something greater. They are not obstacles, but opportunities. They force you to reassess your approach, to develop new strategies, and to be creative in finding solutions. What might seem like an insurmountable problem is actually a stepping stone to your success. The more you embrace setbacks as opportunities for growth, the more you will learn to navigate life's challenges with grace and confidence. In fact, many of the most successful people in history have faced incredible setbacks along the way. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb. He didn't view those failures as the end of his journey. He viewed them as lessons, as necessary steps on the path to his ultimate success. The same is true for other great figures, from athletes to entrepreneurs to leaders in every field. They faced setbacks, failures, and obstacles, but they didn't allow those challenges to define them. They used each setback as fuel for their comeback. They understood that every failure was a lesson, every obstacle an opportunity to grow stronger. One of the greatest lessons you can learn from setbacks is the importance of persistence. Persistence is the ability to keep going when things are tough, to keep pushing forward even when you don't see immediate results. Persistence is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who give up along the way. When you experience a setback, it's easy to feel discouraged and to want to quit, but persistence means refusing to give up no matter how many times you stumble or fall. It means getting back up, learning from your mistakes, and continuing to move forward with even more determination. Another powerful aspect of setbacks is that they often redirect you to where you are truly meant to be. Sometimes we get so focused on a particular goal or outcome that we become blind to other possibilities. We think we know what's best for us, and when things don't go according to plan, we feel lost or defeated. But setbacks can actually be blessings in disguise. They force you to pause, reassess, and open yourself up to new opportunities. What seemed like a failure may actually be a redirection, leading you to a path that is more aligned with your true purpose. Sometimes the detours that setbacks create are exactly what you need to get to where you're meant to go. When you experience a setback, it's important to remember that it's not a reflection of your worth or your abilities. It's a moment in time, and it doesn't define who you are or what you can accomplish. Setbacks are a natural part of the process, and they happen to everyone. What matters is how you respond to them. Do you let them define you, or do you use them as stepping stones to your next great success? The way you approach setbacks determines whether they become obstacles that stop you or opportunities that propel you forward. In the end, setbacks are not the end of the story. They are the beginning of the next chapter. They are the moments that build your resilience, shape your character, and prepare you for the success that lies ahead. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. It's a chance to learn, to grow, and to emerge stronger than before. Embrace setbacks as opportunities and know that with each one, you are one step closer to achieving your dreams. When God leads you, He equips you with the strength and clarity to rise above challenges. The path that God sets before you isn't always easy. It's not meant to be a smooth, unchallenging road. In fact, it's often filled with obstacles, doubts, and moments of uncertainty. But despite the difficulties, there is an assurance that comes with following His lead. An assurance that you are never walking this journey alone and that every challenge you face has a purpose. God doesn't call you to a life of ease, but He calls you to a life of purpose, growth, and transformation. With every step you take in faith, He provides the tools you need to overcome whatever comes your way. When God is leading you, He leads you with intention. Each step you take, each decision you make is part of a larger plan that is unfolding in ways you might not fully understand at the moment. But even when the road seems unclear or when you feel unsure of what to do next, God is always with you, guiding you toward the next step. His plan is bigger than anything you can imagine, and His wisdom far exceeds your own understanding. The key is to trust Him even when you don't have all the answers, and to take each step in faith, knowing that He is directing your path. The peace that comes with knowing you are being led by God isn't just about comfort, it's about confidence in His guidance and His timing. You see, when God leads you, He does not promise that every moment will be free from struggle. In fact, some of the greatest challenges come when you are walking in His will. But with every challenge comes an opportunity to grow, to develop resilience, and to learn more about your own strength and faith. You might find yourself facing situations that feel impossible or overwhelming. You may question why things aren't going according to your plan or why doors that you thought would open seem to be closing instead. But remember this, God's timing is perfect. He sees what you cannot see, and He knows what you are capable of, even when you doubt yourself. Every challenge you face is part of your spiritual development, and with each challenge, you are being prepared for the next phase of your journey. One of the most important things to understand about God's guidance is that it often requires patience. God doesn't always show you the full picture all at once. In fact, there are times when you won't see the next step until you've taken the current one. This can be difficult because as humans, we want certainty. We want to know exactly where we're headed, how we're going to get there, and what the outcome will be. But God calls us to trust Him, not because we have all the answers, but because we trust in His plan for us. It's in the waiting, in the moments when you don't have everything figured out, that you learn to lean on His understanding rather than your own. Trusting in God's timing requires a deep level of patience, but it's through that patience that you learn to surrender control and rely on His divine wisdom. And When God is leading you, he also helps you navigate through uncertainty and fear. Fear is a natural emotion that everyone experiences, but when you're following God's lead, fear loses its power. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, and fear of rejection can paralyze you, preventing you from taking action and moving forward. But when you remember that God is with you, that he has a purpose for your life, and that his strength is made perfect in your weakness, fear no longer holds the same grip. You are able to move forward with faith, knowing that even in the face of fear, God is guiding you. He has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. The more you walk in his guidance, the more you realize that fear is simply a tool that tries to keep you from stepping into your destiny. And with God leading you, you can overcome it. In addition to overcoming fear, God's guidance helps you find clarity and direction when you're feeling lost. Life can often feel like a maze with so many decisions to make and so many paths to choose from. You might find yourself standing at a crossroads, unsure of which direction to go. It's in these moments that God's guidance becomes invaluable. He doesn't just tell you where to go, he equips you with the clarity to see the right path. When you are following his lead, the confusion and uncertainty that you feel begin to clear. The next step becomes more obvious, and the fog of doubt begins to lift. God's guidance gives you the vision to see beyond the present moment, to see the bigger picture, and to trust that even if you can't see the full plan right now, he has already prepared the way. God also leads you in ways that challenge you to grow in your character. When you follow God's guidance, it often requires you to step outside of your comfort zone. It's easy to stay in a place where everything is familiar, where you know the outcome of your actions, and where you feel safe. But growth doesn't happen in places of comfort. Growth happens when you are stretched, when you are forced to rely on your faith, and when you are called to become more than you currently are. God's guidance often pushes you to grow in areas of your life that you've avoided or ignored, areas where you need healing, change, or transformation. It's through these moments of challenge that your character is refined, your faith is strengthened, and your capacity for greatness expands. Another key aspect of being led by God is the empowerment you receive to help others. When God leads you, he doesn't just lead you for your own benefit. He leads you so that you can be a blessing to others. The gifts, talents, and resources he's placed inside of you are not just for your own success. They are meant to be shared. As you walk in God's guidance, you are positioned to impact the lives of others in ways that you may not fully understand. The experiences, the lessons, and the wisdom that you gain from following God's lead are not just for you to keep to yourself. They are for you to use to inspire, uplift, and encourage those around you. You become a vessel of God's love and wisdom, impacting the world in ways that are far beyond what you can imagine. When God leads you, he also strengthens your faith. The more you walk with God, the more you learn to rely on his promises. You begin to understand that he is faithful, that he will never leave you or forsake you, and that his plans for you are good. With each step you take in his guidance, your faith grows stronger and you become more confident in his ability to lead you through life's challenges. Your trust in him deepens and you begin to recognize his hand in every aspect of your life. Even when things don't go as planned, you learn to trust that he is still in control and that his purposes will always prevail. Finally, when God leads you, he brings a sense of peace and fulfillment. There is a deep sense of satisfaction and contentment that comes from knowing you are walking in alignment with God's will. No matter what happens externally, there is a peace that surpasses understanding when you know you are where you are meant to be, doing what you are meant to do. This peace is not tied to circumstances. It comes from the knowledge that you are living in alignment with your purpose and that God is guiding every step of the way. The peace that comes from following God's lead is unshakable, steady, and enduring.